Good evening, everyone. How are we doing? Good. Wonderful. All right, so it is my distinct honor to introduce to you Commissioner Gregg Bishop. The Commissioner is head of the New York City Department of Small Business Services. He's in charge of running a dynamic city agency that helps unlock economic potential and create economic activity through New York City, connecting New Yorkers to good jobs, creating stronger businesses, and building a fairer economy in neighborhoods across the 5 boroughs. The Commissioner also hails from the Caribbean, as many of us are, and raised in East Flatbush. Commissioner formerly served as Deputy Commissioner of SBA's Business Development Division from 2012 to 2015, having begun his career at the agency in 2008 under former Mayor Michael Bloomberg. As Deputy Commissioner, the Commissioner was responsible for a suite of programs designed to make it easier for businesses to start, operate, and grow businesses in New York City. So let's have a nice, warm MCNY graduate welcome for Commissioner Bishop.
Thank you.
So I'll begin and ask the Commissioner to just tell us a little bit about himself and his role and some of the activities of the SBA office in New York City.
Great. So our agency, we're tasked with basically 3 things: creating stronger businesses, helping job seekers find jobs, and strengthening neighborhoods. And we do that through a number of programs that we operate through our agency, Small Business Services. On the business side, we run the NYC Business Solutions centers, where as an entrepreneur or a business that's looking to grow or operate in New York City, you can get access to 9 set of services that are free. On the workforce side, we run all the Workforce One centers to help you find a job. And a lot of the focus for us is really focused on sectors that are growing, where you can actually get a quality job. And on the neighborhood development side, we actually run all the business improvement districts across the city. For those who are not familiar with business improvement districts, if you've been to Times Square, if you've been to Grand Central, if you've been to even downtown Manhattan, you are in a business improvement district. And it's really to help strengthen a commercial corridor to attract you, the consumer, to that corridor to shop.
Excellent. So I see the Commissioner has his master's degree in integrated marketing and management communication. So, Commissioner, can you speak to the value of a graduate degree?
I know it sounds like a really big title, but let me take a step back and say that I have a sort of interesting story in that I went to Brooklyn Tech High School and actually did not have a clear path in terms of like what I wanted to do as a career. I did not say, when I was a young child, that I wanted to be a commissioner at X age. And it is okay for a lot of people not to know where they want their career to lead. I actually went to CUNY for a little bit, and I actually dropped out of school. And I worked in technology for about 7.5 years. And one of those things that there came a point in time where I actually got laid off. And that was the moment where I realized that I needed to actually get a degree, because what was happening to me, and I think it's happening, could be happening to folks, is that you get lost at the sort of the HR gate. And even at SBS, we were working with a lot of the private sector to really challenge them on sort of that filter where you actually need to have that degree in order to work in an area where you have a strong skill set. But even when I had the skill set in technology, there came a point in time where that sector got oversaturated with qualified individuals, and I made the decision to go back to school. So I actually went back to school for my bachelor's at 27, and because I was used to being in school, I then went to get my master's at Florida State when I was 30. I would not be in this position if I didn't have my master's degree. I think one of the things that is important to also know is that even though you have a skill set that can get you to a certain level and that can get you to a certain sort of quality job, but in terms of moving up into management, there's a lot of reasons why you should actually pursue a master's degree.
That's excellent. But you look so young. All right, so Commissioner, your role is a very crucial one in the city of New York. And it's almost similar to what we do here at MCNY. As you know, we have quite a few master's programs. We have 4 MBA degrees, 2 MPA degrees, and we, in fact, have two education programs. And we have something very unique that's in the city of New York here, which is our Emergency and Disaster Management MPA program. So that is very, very, very unique. Yep. How important is it for those who are planning their future, who are looking at their future, to find their sort of focus in terms of what they, and then bringing the passion to it?
I think it's absolutely important. One of the reasons why I have been as excited as I have been in this role is that it gives me an opportunity to give back and give back to the city of New York, give back obviously to the citizens of New York. And when you find your sort of like your sweet spot in terms of like what you are passionate about, it doesn't become a job anymore. It becomes a lifestyle. It becomes sort of the thing that you want to make sure that you continue, even if you're at work until 7, 8 o'clock at night, it doesn't feel like it's a job. And certainly at SBS, when we are helping an entrepreneur start a business, there's no more rewarding feeling than seeing a business owner open up their doors, seeing that business owner actually hire people. And certainly when we find running our Workforce One centers, when individuals are finding jobs, we are changing lives. I think, when I started off in technology, it was something I was passionate about, so I was successful in that career. But after a while, I did not have sort of like the feeling of that I was making a difference. And certainly I challenge everyone in the room that as you consider like what is it that you're passionate about, it may not actually be what you think that you should actually, the path you should take. It may actually be that thing that on the side you're always thinking about, how can I make a difference in this particular area? And that should be sort of like your North Star in terms of like where you should study.
Excellent. So Commissioner, can we talk a little bit about small businesses in minority communities that are looking at small businesses as a way for personal development, economic development, and social development?
Sure.
What impact do you feel that you are making and SBS?
Sure. So when I started off, actually when I graduated with my master's, I actually found a position here in New York City focused on teaching young adults 18 to 24 technology skills to find them jobs. And one of the things I was frustrated with is that I could find those individuals internships, but I couldn't find them jobs. And what attracted me to the city and to small business services is that we are responsible for the Minority and Women-Owned Business Enterprise Program. And what that program is really taking the buying power of the city of New York. We spend anywhere between $13 to $16 billion a year to actually run the city. Taking a percentage of that and connecting those to minority and women-owned businesses. What that does, it creates economic activity in neighborhoods. Those small businesses, if they get a city contract, can actually hire within those neighborhoods. So everything that we do at SBS always goes back to job creation and what can we do to actually create more jobs. So certainly our MWB program, and the mayor has been very focused on ensuring that we connect MWBs to about $16 billion over the next 10 years because we know that it is critical to the city's economy.
Excellent. In terms of challenges, and if you could speak specifically about the minority community, what are the challenges in terms of bringing services to that community and making sure that they utilize those types of services?
I think, and it is a challenge that we face across the board as a city agency. And this is one of those things where I encourage everyone who's thinking about working and trying to find a meaningful job to think about government service. because we, as government, sometimes we have services that may not be easy to understand to individuals. So we have to figure out a way to, and when I talk about our services, I talk about we actually have a business development staff. So we're actually selling free services. Why? Because we need to make sure that we do everything possible to raise awareness. So one of the challenges is, just penetrating different communities across the city. In New York City, we have 8.5 million people. And of the 8.5 million people, over 37%, or about 40%, are immigrants. And in certain cases, immigrants communities tend to be very insular. So we have to really make sure that we work with community-based organizations and come up with strategies on how we can actually increase awareness in those communities about our services. And that's just one of the challenges. There's so many other challenges in terms of the perception of government. We have to make sure that we provide our services with the highest of quality, customer service, and everyone that works at SBS, we have a team of over 300 individuals. They are focused on ensuring that we deliver those services as if we were a small business.
So one of the unique things that we do here at Metropolitan is through our business programs, we have students develop their own business plan as part of of their education. And they do that also for the MPA program. They develop projects aligned with the city's, the agency's mission and goals. And increasingly, we find that the challenge at the end there is financing.
Yep.
And so could you speak a little bit about, access to financing and
Yep. That is when you're talking about small businesses, there's about three things that are challenges for small businesses, but access to capital is high on that list. And certainly one of the services that we offer through our NYC Business Solutions system is actually helping businesses find capital. Depending on the type of business that you are, so if you're starting a business, usually it's a little bit more difficult because then it relies on your character and your credit and also the strength of that business plan. So not only do we help you in terms of evaluate your business plan to ensure that it is actually something that a bank is willing to lend on, but then we have a network of over 40 lenders that we work with to really connect you with that capital. And last year we did a little bit over like $25 million in capital to small businesses. So it's something that we are very, very good at doing. And certainly a lot of businesses and a lot of entrepreneurs spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to get that capital. And one of the things that they need to know is that there's a city agency that's there to help them connect them to the capital.
So where do you see the SBS heading into the next couple of years under your leadership?
So we have a number of initiatives that I think are very important. Number one, one of the other issues and challenges that small businesses face is just navigating government. New York City is a very large city. We have to help businesses stay compliant with our regulations. So we are working to actually ease that burden, bring more of our services online. So bring more transparency to if you're a business and you want to know like what your touch points are across all city agencies, using technology to make that easy, increase our ability to get more capital to businesses. So a lot of our capital is debt capital. So I want to do more on the equity side and angel investors, and certainly on the workforce side, increasing the amount of individuals that we place in specific industries that we're working with the private sector to ensure that we're connecting individuals to quality jobs.
Excellent. So, Commissioner, let's turn a little bit now to you. And you have a wonderful career going in small business development. And so where do you see yourself in terms of city? Can we sit here and one day interview as the mayor?
I'm not going to make a mayoral announcement right now. I have done it in the past. No, I think, and this is, it's great when you have, when you have a degree that allows you that flexibility, your career choices are yours. And certainly one of the things that I would say is that right now I enjoy what I do. I'm giving back, and in 5 years, I want to make sure that whatever I'm doing, I continue having the impact that I'm having on this city. Again, it is a humbling experience to be in this position because certainly we are one of the largest cities. When we talk about New York City, we're talking about a global city. So to be responsible for helping small businesses, helping the workforce in New York City, and helping neighborhoods, that is a tremendous honor for me. So certainly what I would say to everyone, I would not be in this position if I did not, confront my fear. I had a strong fear at 27 of returning to school. Certainly there were certain subjects that I wasn't strong at in high school. And 7 years went by, and I was nervous about I have to take statistics, I have to take all these complicated subjects, and that fear would have prevented me from actually sitting here right now. So confront your fears, because fear is just the thing that will prevent you from being successful. If you confront those fears, the world is yours.
Excellent. So I think we have time to open it up to the audience. Are there any questions? Yes?
Hi, yes. One of the programs that I really enjoy, I know that Small Business Services has a suite of programs. One of the ones that I really enjoy is Business Express. Can you tell me a little bit about it? Could you tell the students a little bit about it? I do teach a business program, and I refer them, and I ask them to go to that actual to university.gov, because they can put in the type of business they're interested in, and then they'll be able to see the certifications they need to permit. So can you talk a little bit about how that's going to be helpful?
So, and these are for all the entrepreneurs in the room, but it also highlights sort of the various skill sets that you need, that we are looking for in government. So the program that we're talking about, which is Business Express, is really demystifying sort of what you need to actually start a business in New York City. So if you're thinking about starting a restaurant, if you're thinking about starting, and I'm use restaurant as an example, you just plug in, I want a restaurant with an outside cafe with, serving alcohol, and then you'll see all the licenses that you'll need. But more importantly, it will actually tell you agencies you need to connect with, and then you can actually come to us at NYC Business Solutions, and an account manager will actually help you walk through that process. Now, the way we thought about that was we had individuals who were, had expertise in operations, who had expertise in technology, who had expertise in project management, who had expertise in business operations, to figure out that this is a tool that we would need to launch in order to help businesses. So again, government, especially, there are so many different agencies across the city that need specific skill sets that I just encourage folks to consider government as a career.
Any other? Yes?
So as a non-entrepreneur, what would you suggest for, I think the program, the MPA program is 1 year, right? So if there is a person who wants to get into government, at what point during that 1 year should they start preparing for a role in government?
So, and it is all about timing with actually from the outside coming into government. There are many initiatives that we may launch that we need specific skill sets. What I would say is certainly, whatever program you're thinking about joining, do not let the time period stop you from doing it. Even if you can take one class at a time, you're one step closer to actually completing that particular program. And certainly continue looking at careers. So nyc.gov/ I believe it's careers has a lot of opportunities with government. Continue applying, because at any moment, we will, if we need sort of like individuals, we look inside, we look outside. So it's all about timing.
The other side of it is that here at MCNY, we do something really, really unique, which is that you begin that process immediately from the time you enter our fabulous MPA program under the leadership of my great colleague sitting in the back there who's going to talk to you in a few minutes. You just start that process right away. So, and that is something that we do, and that is different from many other colleges, which is that you start to apply the knowledge immediately.
Right.
Yes?
And one thing that services program here, you take advantage of it. They'll start putting you into some of the internships, so you can kind of see if that's really something you want to do as you're getting your degree. So, you know, you're going to be working on your constructive action plan, which is your working, living document, but you can actually go into some of these agencies while you're doing that. And so I'll encourage you to take advantage of course, Dean Cookingo in the back. Take advantage of your professors, let them know what you're thinking about doing. And then look for internships at places like Small Business Services or your senator or your assembly office. And take advantage of all of that as you're going along, because when you finish, you'll have a plethora of information that you can now apply to real life moving forward.
And make sure that you get the commissioner's business card. A great source.
Yep.
Are there any interns or volunteer available for like assembly or working closely with you if someone wants to get involved in that?
Yeah, so I'm glad we brought up the topic of internships. So the internship cycle for most government agencies is actually right now. So we are in April, so actually it's a little bit too late. We usually start January, February in terms of identifying sort of the internship needs, and then we start recruiting in March and April. So certainly, I'm not saying not to look, but we do have on a rolling basis internship opportunities. So certainly I'll give you my information.
Okay.
Yep.
On the website, along with you giving me your information, the website we go to kind of narrow down or find interest in the internship.
So if you Google New York City careers, I believe it's nyc.gov/careers, but I might be off. But if you put NYC careers into Google, you'll see all the career opportunities across the city.
Right. And you spoke about the assembly office.
Yeah.
You can go into their website too, they'll have opportunities available.
Oh, so it's different.
No, we're talking New York City careers, but that's New York City Assembly State.
Right.
So if you're looking for state opportunities as well, yeah.
All right, so any other questions? I think we've reached our time limit here. Before I ask the commissioner, before we go, I'll ask the commissioner to say some parting words.
Final thoughts. I think I already gave the final thoughts in terms of definitely do not, as someone who's gone through this, make sure that you do not let fear prevent you from being successful. Certainly, explore your passion. Whatever it is that you constantly think about outside of work, that is probably what you're passionate about. And if you can find that sweet spot where you're actually working in that field, trying to solve that problem or giving back, I think it will be the best opportunity and the best experience ever. So thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Commissioner Bishop. Let's give him a nice MCNY